Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. It is not possible to describe the pastimes of Lord Nrsimhadev and Sri Prahlad in even so many days, not to say a short period that we have right now. So we'd like to describe the glories up to a certain extent for the Lord. The Lord's name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes are unlimited, and it is for our benefit to hear the glories of the Lord mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma chamiliryam evam yo vidhi tattvatah chatva deyam punarjanma. Anyone who knows the transcendental appearance, the appearance of these activities to be divine, then one does not have to take birth again in this material world. Chakba deham punarjanma. He doesn't have to come back. And the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is the origin of everything. Everything emanates from Him. Janardan Yatra. He is the cause of all causes, sarva karna karna. He is the source both of the material and spiritual worlds. And Lord Krishna, He has many expansions. They're called avatar. Avatar means one who descends from the spiritual world. And each of these avatar, they have also corresponding abode in the spiritual sky. Like Lord Nrsimha, there is Nrsimha Loka. According to the Shastra, there is no difference between Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, Lord Nrsimhadev, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are all equal in potency. Prabhupada gave an example that there is one candle that is already lit up, and there is a full room of candles. It's not lit up. So by this one lit up candle, all the candles in the room was lit up. And this original candle that was originally lit up, that was Lord Krishna. And everyone has the same potency. In science, it is called one candela. One candela. That means the brightness of the candle. So now, the feature of the Supreme Lord in this very unusual form, it says that as there are many species of life, how many are there? 8,400,000. So there are as many incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Not necessarily they are all present here in this planet Earth, but He is present, these different forms, in all the entire creation. That means not just in our universe, because there are practically unlimited universes. Kingdom of God is divided into two: spiritual kingdom and the material kingdom. Both combined is the conglomerate kingdom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in the material world, the Lord will come from time to time. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yada Yada Hidharmasya Dvanirvabhagavata, or Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinasya Chatusritam. Whenever there is a decline of religious practice, or when it is forgotten, like the Bhagavad Gita was spoken to the sun god, he was one about 200 million years ago. And then it was spoken again 5,000 years ago. The same knowledge is spoken to the sun god and to Arjuna, even though Arjuna was there with the sun god. So now to also protect his devotees and to annihilate the demons, Krishna will come. But ultimately to fulfill the words of his devotees. How many of you have been to Ahobilam? Raise your hands. In South India? Yes, near Hyderabad. We've been there also. Ahobilam is like the shape. It's a mountain, but it's the shape of Garuda. Yeah? Have you been to the top? No, I did not go. I'm afraid of heights. That is very, very steep. It's like almost like this to climb. And to go down also is like this. So we went there one time, and I would like to go again. It is considered to be the appearance place of Lord Nrsimhadev. And there's a temple on the bottom of the hill, because to go there you have to walk through stream, water stream. And very fortunate for those who would want to go now. There was a devotee who constructed a staircase made of concrete. So it's easier now to climb. And to go there is very, very austere, not so easy. And somehow or other, we managed to go top, not the very top, but we had darshan of Lord Nrsimhadev on the bottom, where Hiranyakashipu was killed. And before reaching the very temple where Lord Nrsimhadev killed Hiranyakashipu, you have to pass through a small stream of water falling from the top of the hill, like a waterfall. Remember? And then it says that anyone who passed by there and have the water sprinkled on your body, you don't have to take birth again. So all of you should go. If you don't want to take birth again in this material world. It's an amazing place. You can feel the presence of Lord Nrsimhadev. Also, we went to a part where it's considered to be the school of Sanda and Amarka, the teachers of Prahlad Maharaj and his friends, sons of the demons. And it's like a white slab of stone, bigger than this, maybe twice, three times bigger than this. And I was just like looking at that school. Yeah, that is the school. It's like they say, this is the school, this is a slab of stone, but here is the ravine. So if you play with your friends, Prahlad Maharaj, they can push each other and then you go. You're finished. I don't think that happened to them. But nevertheless, Hiranyakashipu was killed in that place and Lord Nrsimhadev appeared in that place. So it is not a mythology. It is not one's own mind's imagination that the Lord actually is there. No. It's like Kurukshetra. How many of you have been to Kurukshetra? Jyotisar, where the battle of Mahabharata, Kurukshetra, happened? Actually, it is true. It is a fact. And how many of you have been to Vrindavan? Oh, okay, almost 99%. Vrindavan is the land of Krishna. It's the birthplace of Lord Krishna. So God actually exists. And to prove to the words of his devotees to come true, Lord Nrsimhadev appeared. Hmm. See, Lord Ramachandra has a father and mother, right? Who? Dasarat and Kausalya. How about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Who's the father and mother? Satya and Jagannath Isra. How about Lord Krishna? Who's the father and mother? Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda. Or Vasudeva and Devaki. Because there were two Krishnas, they became one. That is another story. So, but Lord Nrsimhadev, when he appeared, does he have a father, mother? Who is his father or mother? The pillar. But the form of the Lord Nrsimhadev, is so amazing. Because to prove to the words also, because when Hiranyakashipu performed 1,000 years of austerities, he wanted to be immortal. He wanted to be God. He wanted to be God and he wanted to kill Lord Vishnu. He wanted to replace him. But it's not possible. God is always God and we cannot be God. The living entities, the jivas, we are parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. So we cannot be the complete whole. We are parts. So when Hiranyakashipu, the story goes way, way far from the third canto. When the Kumaras wanted to see Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, in the Vaikuntha planets. And it says that to enter the kingdom of God up in the spiritual sky, there are how many gates? Seven gates. I've been to one temple in South India. There are seven gates also. Shirangam, yeah, Shirangam, where you have to take bath many times also. Is that the place? Oh, that's Rameshwaram. I'm a little confused there. Yeah. So Srirangam, we went there also, and somehow in the spiritual sky is like that. It was designed that no one can enter immediately. You have to go through many, many gates. So the four Kumaras, they were the first born living beings from Lord Brahma, the Char Kumaras. And they were told by Lord Brahma to propagate the entire universe. Because in those days, there's not many. So in order to propagate, the Charikumaras were instructed to propagate, but they said no. We want to remain brahmacharis. According to Srila Prabhupada, this is the only instruction coming from the spiritual master that you can say no. If the spiritual master told you to get married, you can say, Guru Maharaj, I'm sorry. I would like to remain brahmachari or brahmacharini. But according to Srila Prabhupada, he says that all the men should remain brahmacharis and all women should get married. So how? How? How do you do that? Because women, they need to be protected all their life. When they were young, by the parents, when they get a little older, by the husband, and when they get more old, by the children. So now, the four Kumaras, they may look like 5-year-old boys. We were talking about that the other day, that in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5-year-old boy is very, very mystical, very magical. Prahlad Maharaj was 5-year-old. Dhruva Maharaj also was 5-year-old when he went to the forest and had darshan of Lord Narayan. And the four Kumaras also, they're looking like 5 years old because of their being celibate. When you're celibate, you look very young. You look very young. Um, so the Charkumaras, they want to see Lord Narayan, but they were stopped by Jai and Vijay. Now, Jai and Vijay, there are the two gatekeepers of the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. Chokidars, not like our chokidars in Vrindavan, they always sleep. They, these chokidars are alert. They will pervade you to come if you're not meant to come. Hmm? So, uh, when they wanted to enter, they were stopped. He says, "Who are you?" And because they're looking like small kids, he says, "No, you're not allowed to come inside. Maybe your parents doesn't know that you are here." Sometimes the kids, they have an all access pass. The young kids, you cannot stop them, just like this boy. So similarly, Jai and Vijay, they were just doing their duty. And the four Kumaras, they said, you're supposed to be not the one who should be here. If somehow they're able to enter up to 6 gates, the seventh gate, and because there were Brahmavadis. Brahmavadis, they also believe in the Supreme Lord, but in the lowest rank. That the Supreme Lord has this feature of being Brahman. Okay? So, meanwhile, Lord Narayan, he was understanding what's going on. There was some commotion now. And then he came out because they were cursed to take birth in the earthly planet and the material world. The Brahmanas are very powerful. They can curse. And when they curse, it's actually for the benefit of the one who's cursed. So, when they were having this conversation, Lord Narayan came and asked what's going on. He knew what's going on. So, here, whatever the disciples and the students do, the responsibility lies on the master. We should have this in our mind. They were all followers of Srila Prabhupada. So we have to be responsible in our action. Everything that we do also will be given credit to Srila Prabhupada. And if we misbehave, the discredit will go to whom? To Srila Prabhupada. It's like we were taught to eat with our right hand because this is suchi and this is mochi. So if you go to India and people will see you're eating with your left hand, they will say, "What is this? Whose disciples are this?" Or they're followers of H.H.Bhakti Swami. So what? Is this what H.H.Bhakti Swami teaching them? Of course, in the West, you will not be criticized if you eat in left hand because many of the children also they're left-hander, or many of you became left-hander. So now Lord Narayan is taking the responsibility. He's ready to fulfill the curse for his guards. his servants. So Lord Narayan asked them to choose to take birth in the material world 3 times as demons, and how many times as 7? Boy, that's a big difference, isn't it? Three times and 7 times as devotees. So they talk with each other. They try to figure out a solution for this. And ultimately, they decided, "Dear Lord, we choose to take birth as demons." What? Devotees, servants, chose to be demons? Why? So that they can return back immediately to their service. So they will, and this pastime also the Supreme Lord, because Krishna would like to exhibit his fighting mood, fighting spirit. That who can fight with Krishna? Nobody practically. Anyone who fights with Krishna is like a mosquito fighting with an elephant. You can just little flick. Huh? So that part was fulfilled. To have that experience, the mood of fighting spirit. And therefore, this Jai and Vijay, they took birth from the womb of Diti. The husband is Kashyapa. Kashyapa was asked, was enticed by Diti. Uh, See, in inauspicious time, which is like when it's about the night starts to fall. This is like dusk. It says that at that time, Lord Shiva and his associates also going around at that time. And Diti was inflicted with a lusty desire to have the intercourse with Kashyapa. But Kashyapa says, no, this is not the right time. I will fulfill your desire. But nevertheless, also, he was inflicted to fulfill the desire of Diti. That's why the demons, they're called Daityas because of Diti, sons of Diti. And that time, the conception occurred and the offsprings were Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, the biggest demons you can ever find. These days, demons are not really demons. They are chota demons. They're teeny weeny, very small. Hiranyaksha is the first terrorist. Right now, there are many terrorists, right? He is the original terrorist. He terrorized the entire universe. Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha means gold also, right? And Hiranyakashipu means gold and soft bed. So they like this. Demons, they like this gold. They want to amass. Hmm? So Hiranyaksha was killed by Barahadev. So now Hiranyakashipu, he knew the Vedas. He understood the Vedas, though we're not this body, we're spirit soul. So he was telling to the family members, he's not this body, he's spirit soul. And he told about the story of these birds that was captured. There's another story. So now, to avenge the death of his brother, he made sure, he was determined to be immortal. He wanted to, like Ravana, because that is one of the lives also. Hmm? Actually, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, or Jai and Vijay, they had three births, right? To be demons. But when they heard that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming, they decided to prolong their stay. And they became Jagai and Madai. And later on, they became Madhav and Jagannath. Hmm. By the mercy of who? Lord Nityananda. Even though Lord Chaitanya is the most merciful, Namo Mahavadanyaya, Krishna Prema Padaya, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya, Lord to say Namaha. But Lord Nityananda is more merciful than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Nityananda, unlimitedly merciful. And it says that Srila Prabhupada is the mercy incarnation of Lord Nityananda. He sacrificed everything to come to America, to the West, at the age of 70. For us, for many of us, that would be the retirement. But no. So now, Hiranyakashipu would like to become immortal. So he decided to perform austerity, Mandarachala hill. And over there, he stood on his toes with his raised hand, and he is doing this for many, many years. That the whole universe was shaking, and the heat coming from his body is enough to burn all the living entities in the universe. So they became worried now, especially the demigods. But during that time, when Hiranyakashipu was performing his austerity, the demigods took advantage. They said, well, they've heard that within the womb of the wife of Hiranyakashipu, the mother of Prahlad, Kayadu, is having a child in her womb. So they decided to went to the palace of Hiranyakashipu, usurped the throne, and they took advantage. Also, they tried to kidnap now Kayadu, thinking that if we take this child after the birth, then we will kill him because this child could be a bigger, much bigger demon than the father. Now enter Narad Muni. He's not anything to do. He got nothing to do at that time. He's free. So Narad Muni is very special. He is the only person in the entire universe, the entire world, both material and spiritual world, who can have all access pass without visa. He can go to the spiritual world, he can come back here, he can go anywhere, as if he knows everything what's going on. He got this mystic power. And the main purpose of Narad Muni always intervening is to expedite the Leela, for the Lord to come, or everything is for the benefit of the Lord. He can talk to the demons freely. He can talk to the demigods freely, anywhere and everywhere. So he said, stop! You do not know what you're doing. Because the demigods are ready to take Kayadu. He says, no, you do not know who is in the womb of this woman. He is sinless. He is a Mahabhagavat, Mahatma, a great soul. And that's true. Prahlad Maharaj is one of the Mahajans. Swayambhu Narado Shambhu Komara Kapilo Mano Prahlado Janako Vishnu Balir Vayashaki Vayam. It's one of the 12 Mahajans. Now what is a Mahajan? Mahajan means authority of Bhagavad Dharma. Because within the womb of his mother, Narad Muni brought Kayadu to his ashram and he spoke on Bhagavad Dharma. Now, we cannot find where is this ashram of Narad Muni, except there is one ashram of Narad Muni in Vrindavan. Where? Near Narad Kund, near Kusuma Sarovar in Govardhan. How many of you have been there? Yeah, that is the ashram of Narad Muni. We don't know where else. We probably have many ashrams, but that is the famous one. That's the place where he wrote his Narad Bhakti Sutra or Narad Pancharatra. Hmm. So the mother, for many years, she heard the Bhagavad Dharma and also within the womb. That's why uh, the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj was spoken to his friends, the sons of the demons, friends. He remembered when the friends asked Prahlad Maharaj, we never heard these teachings. Our teachers, Sanda and Amarta, they never taught us this. Where did you hear this from? Then he narrated, Prahlad Maharaj narrated that how he learned this from within the womb. And how is it that Kayadu had forgotten? Hmm. The question was, how is it that Kayadu forgotten everything? Because of she's absorbed about the baby inside, how to take care. And usually, the woman, they don't have that much long retaining remembrance. Huh? Even though women are more spiritual than men, in a sense, because when Prabhupada says, in a spiritual meeting, you will find more women than men. But here it seems to be the same. Seems to be 50-50 here. So, not at all times. So, Hiranyakashipu, he performed austerities, but then Brahma came. Because on the first of all, the demigods went to Kshir Sagar. Because this is the mystical power of Lord Brahma. He's the only one who can hear and communicate with Kshir Dakashai Vishnu. The demigods, they cannot hear what's going on. And Kshir Dakashai Vishnu says that you do not worry, when the right time comes, I will appear. Just do your duty. So he went to see Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu immediately offered his obeisances also. But before that, he has this kamandalu. And he cannot find where is his body because he became covered up with like an ant hill. He was already like skeleton, bones only. But because of his intelligence, his heart is still there. That's why he's still alive. So when he poured this water, sacred water, to the body or to the place where Hiranyakashipu was, then Hiranyakashipu came into being again. And then he offered his obeisances to Lord Brahma, my dear Lord. He addressed Lord Brahma, my dear Lord. And Lord Brahma says, I'm very pleased with your austerity. Is there any boon that you want to have? So now, this is the boon now. He says, I want to become immortal. The Brahma says, that is not possible. That's not possible. I'm almost going to die. I'm not immortal. You can only give what you have. If you don't have that, you cannot give that. Right? If you have love of Krishna, you can give love of Krishna. But even if you have a little faith of Krishna, you can give that faith also to others. Not necessarily you. It's like Prabhupada says, just repeat what you've heard, just repeat what you read, and you are perfect. I may not be perfect, but if I repeat what Krishna's representative, pure representative says, then in that way I am imperfect in delivering, like a postman. So, okay, if I cannot be immortal, so now he's trying to trick Lord Brahma. Okay, give me a boon that I will not die either in the air, in the land, or in the water. Okay, tatastu, so be it. You give me the boon that I will not die either day or night. Lord Brahma says, tatastu, so be it. That I may not be, the cause of my death will be an animal or a man, or even demigod. Tatastu, no problem. That I may not be triggered by any weapons, any weapon, man-made or any material things. Tatastu. So now there's no other choice here. It's like there's no escape. But Lord Brahma, to fulfill his words, he says, yes, okay. But who is the greatest cheater? Krishna. Yes. He says, of the gambling, I am the cheat. If you're a gambler, definitely you are. Oh, you're not a gambler, right? But if one is a gambler, definitely there's always cheating going on. You cannot say an honest gambler. It doesn't work. It's not. It doesn't fit. So this Hiranyakashipu is the greatest cheater of them all in human form. So to fulfill, because one day when the um, after the school, I'm sure you did it also, the grihastas. You will call your daughter or you will call your son, my dear daughter, my dear son, come here. And then you will smell the head. Mmm, baby smell. And you will ask, my dear child, what have you learned in the school today? Did you ask your kids like this before? So the origin of that is Hiranyakashipu. He's the origin of many things. Okay, so he says, what have you learned? But then he says, the first one, Tatsadamanye Suravalya Dehinam Sada Samudina Diyam Asatrahat Tivatma Patam Griham Andakupam Banam Gatoyat Darin Astrayeta. He says, O best of the Asuras, king of the demons. Just imagine that, addressing his father, my dear king of the demons. As far as I have learned from my spiritual master, who is that? Janardan Muni, right? Not Sanda Marka. Any person who has accepted the temporary body and temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxiety because of having fallen in a dark well where there is no water but only suffering. One should give up this position and go to the forest, Vana. More clearly, one should go to Vrindavan, where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent and should thus take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Hiranyakashipu, after hearing this, he was like surprised. What's going on here? Is this the Gurukul that I've asked for them to teach you how to rule and divide, how to be a good cheater, how to be a good politician, good diplomat? Is this what they're teaching? So he called Sanda and Marka. He says, hey, you teach this? No, 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 our dear Lord. So he thought that the school now has been infiltrated by the spies, the Vaishnavas. And then he taught them again, they teach him again, and then during tiffin time, Prahlad Maharaj will ask his friends to chant, to about the narration of the Lord. And Prahlad Maharaj, in the history of the world, there are, as far as we know, only two personalities. Two boys doesn't want to play. Not like him. Only Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. They never play. They don't have any interest in playing. The interest is only thinking of Krishna, talking about Krishna, and so on. As we mentioned earlier, it's not enough, but I gave you a like very short synopsis. This later on, it will lead to that Prahlad Maharaj will be tortured by his father. He was thrown on a mountain, 100 yojanas in height. You know what's a yojana? 8 miles, right? About 100 yojanas, 800 miles. Wow, taller than the Himalayas. That's quite steep, very, very dangerous. He was given poison. He was burned. He was given prasadam cake with poison, but he would offer to Krishna. You know why he was not able to be killed by Hiranyakashipu and his soldiers, because he's always thinking of Krishna. He's always remembering Krishna. We should learn lesson from here that says in the Bhagavad Gita also, we were talking about that the other day, that always think of Krishna all the time. Then we will be protected. To the degree that we are remembering Krishna, to the degree that we will also be protected. Don't expect 100% protection by the Lord if you are not thinking of Krishna. If you are not having 100% faith and surrender unto the Lord. Our life insurance will not save us at the time of death. It says life insurance. What? You'll be saved by your life insurance? Only Krishna can save us. Like here, Prahlad Maharaj was saved by Lord Nrsimhadev. And when Lord Nrsimhadev came out, he played with Hiranyakashipu. It was like a mouse playing, being played by a cat. So we should be somehow or other in the next few days to meditate on Lord Nrsimhadev. Just by thinking of the pastimes of the Lord, then we will become purified. The more we hear the Lord's pastimes, the heart becomes cleansed and we become blissful, we become happy, and ultimately, hope against hope, we will never take birth again after this lifetime. Hare Krishna. We stop here. You have any question or comment? Any question? No question? Don't be shy. You have a question, right? You're the smartest fellow here. Yes.
Thank you very much for wonderful narration of the fasting. 1 hour.
1 hour, 45 minutes, less than that also.
Direction of us, yeah. Thank you very much for the wonderful fasting. Maharaj, you said that we have to develop faith towards Krishna. The more faith we have, the more protection we get.
Yes.
So, how to develop that faith? How to have that faith,
The
100%
faith,
faith on Krishna.
the faith starts from association of the devotees, like what you're having here right now. I think how many Bhakti Vriksha groups here? How many? Is it Bhakti Vriksha group or Yatra? This is the whole Yatra. Uh, the whole Yatra.
Yes.
Okay. So take advantage of the association of the devotees. It's like there's a saying, tell me who your friends are, and I will tell you who you are. So if you associate with the devotees, you will also become like them. Hmm? And especially when there is a meeting of devotees, the Supreme Lord is there because they don't have any other business. Huh? Satatam kirtayan tomam. Always discussing about the name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. You'll get, so to speak, infected. So we should also search for devotees who are more advanced than we are. Those whose faith are very strong. Their faith is very strong from coming again and again to this kind of meeting, having a good sadhana, chanting the rounds without any offenses, especially today is Ekadasi. We should chant, according to Srila Prabhupada, 25 rounds minimum. More hearing and chanting. Prioritize the spiritual activities, spiritual life. In Abu Dhabi, you're very fortunate. Otherwise, if you're in India, I don't think you'll be as serious as the way you are right now. It's more difficult to be Krishna conscious in India because of the relatives. Hare Krishna. Unless they are devotees. Yes? But here, hey, the kids, they know how to play harmonium, they know everything they know from the very start. So if you have children also, you need to be more Krishna conscious to give them Krishna consciousness. And if you don't have that much Krishna consciousness, the kids will pull you to become Krishna conscious because they would like to come every time and have association. So read Srila Prabhupada's books every day. How many of you have Bhagavad Gita? How many of you who wants to have a Bhagavad Gita? Those who doesn't have it. Okay, the books are available there. So 99% have Bhagavad Gita, right? My next question is, how many of you read Bhagavad Gita every day? Oh, okay. Less. Maybe 40% of the one who raised it, they have the Bhagavad Gita. So please read Bhagavad Gita also every day. I read Bhagavad Gita every day for the last 40 years. I'm not from India. I'm the only one who's not from India here. Right? But maybe some of you are from different countries, but nevertheless, we're all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. We're all servants of Lord Krishna. This body is temporary. What is more important is the soul inside. So I'm very happy to meet you all today. It's very auspicious. It's Mohini Ekadasi. Hmm? And hopefully we'll meet you again some other time. And I wish you all the best in your practice of Krishna consciousness. Be strong more and more every day. Okay? Srila Prabhupada K. Jai! Nitai Gaur Sitanath Pramanande. Hari Om Tat Sat.